Everyone knows how Rome fell. Barbarians poured across the borders, sacked the city, and the greatest empire in history collapsed. That's the story. And it's wrong. Or at least it's the last chapter of a book everyone stops reading. Because here's a fact that should stop you cold. Over roughly 2 centuries, the Roman silver coin, the denarius, the currency that ran the largest economy in the ancient world, lost almost all of its silver. It started as nearly pure silver. By the late 3rd century, it had been debased so severely that it contained barely a trace of it. The coin was essentially a piece of base metal with a thin silver wash. Rome didn't just lose battles. Rome destroyed its own money. And what followed was inflation so severe that prices spiraled out of control. Trust in the currency collapsed, tax revenue became unreliable, and the state gradually lost the ability to pay for the one thing that was keeping it alive: its army. The barbarians didn't destroy Rome. They walked into a house that had already burned down financially. This is the story the textbooks skip. To understand the collapse, you first have to understand how the machine worked when it was healthy. Rome's empire ran on a simple, brutal financial logic. Conquest brought in wealth, treasure, slaves, land, and above all, new territory to tax. Taxes paid the legions. The legions protected the borders and conquered more territory. More territory meant more taxes. Round and round. For centuries, this worked beautifully. Rome expanded, and expansion paid for itself. But there's a fatal flaw buried in that model. And it's the same flaw that destroyed Napoleon 18 centuries later. It only works while you're expanding. Eventually, Rome stopped growing. The empire reached its practical limits. The deserts, the forests, the frontiers where further conquest cost more than it returned. The flow of new plunder dried up. And now Rome had a permanent problem. It still had to pay for an enormous army, the largest standing military in the world, guarding thousands of miles of border. It still had to fund an enormous bureaucracy, public grain supplies, games, infrastructure. The costs stayed. The conquest revenue stopped. An empire built on expansion had run out of things to expand into. And that's when the finances started to break. Faced with that gap, the emperors reached for a solution that must have seemed clever at the time. It's the same solution governments have reached for ever since, and it is one of the most destructive things a state can do to itself. They debased the currency.